There's nothing new about lampooning the royals. It's a tradition that goes back to the 18th century with cartoons by Gilray and Rowlandson about George III and George IV and all the other royal dukes. But it hadn't been done quite so savagely for quite a long time. There was no real tradition of lampooning George V, who was the king in the First World War, still less of George VI, the king in the Second World War. Queen Elizabeth II had a voice which was quite easy to imitate. You only had to say, "My husband and I," and you had it. But when Spitting Image came along in the 80s, it made a lot of sense to turn the attention away from the politicians for a time to the royal family, because this was very much the time of the younger royals and all of their antics. But the actual targets that they used, the whole family, not just the Queen, not just the Duke of Edinburgh, was quite startlingly new. And my two friends here were perhaps unexpected targets. So down here we have the Queen Mother. Now, the Queen Mother had been queen in the Second World War. She was a figure of great veneration and respect and affection, indeed known as the Queen Mother. What did she sound like? She hardly ever spoke. People didn't really know what voice she had. So what Spitting Image did was to take the voice of a well-known comic actress, Beryl Reid, with a marked Birmingham accent, and to give it to the Queen Mother, who was also shown sort of swilling gin, betting on the horses, and all in all a sort of lovable working class granny figure. Quite different from the normal, very respectable, very prim image of the Queen Mother. And over here, Princess Diana. Now bear in mind, this is before all the revelations about the state of her marriage. This is in the days when she's married to Prince Charles, when William and Harry are born, and she's presented as a bit of an airhead princess, not very bright, alongside Prince Charles with his big ears, again, not too bright. And then, of course, also in the family, you've got a party-loving, fun-loving, skirt-chasing Prince Andrew. When we look at it nowadays, with our knowledge of what was to come, it has to be said that even Spitting Image begins to look like a sort of pale imitation of the reality that lay in the future. But of course, they didn't know that at the time.